Donald Trump is getting ready for his return. This update has created a sensation all over the globe. He has been one of the most controversial U.S. presidents in the history of the country. Many political experts think that his return is going to rip the country apart. What do you think about the consequences of Trump's return? In this video, we are going to take a look at the possible effects on America if he becomes president again. Hello and welcome to Limitless. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to never miss another update. That being said, let's begin. On January 20, 2017, President Donald Trump gave his inaugural address, promising an end to America's chaos, portraying a gloomy image of a divided, broken society that he claimed only he could restore. But Trump leaves behind an even more polarized America, where thousands of people died from the COVID-19 epidemic, the economy is seriously harmed, and political violence is on the rise. The profound divisions that have come to characterize American society were not created by Trump. Nonetheless, he used many of them to expand his power base, pledging to elevate rural America and the broader working class, who he said has been ignored by Washington. After transitioning from the campaign road to the White House, some presidents attempted to bring the country together. Trump seemed to enjoy the political war from his earliest days in Washington until his last. From the press media to members of his own government, elected leaders from both political parties and foreign heads of state, he utilized his presidential megaphone to condemn a lengthy list of perceived rivals. Trump's policies have resulted in significant changes both at home and overseas. In the United States, he won a slew of long-awaited conservative successes, including the largest corporate tax cuts in history, the repeal of dozens of environmental laws, and a remaking of the federal court. In the international arena, he imposed tough new immigration restrictions, withdrew from several multilateral agreements, strengthened ties with Israel, and launched a trade war with China as part of a larger effort to address what he saw as glaring imbalances in America's economic relationship with other countries. To get impeached, you have to do something really horrible. For example, having sexual connections with a significantly lower-ranking employee and then lying about it. Yeah, Trump really did that. Moreover, the charge leveled against Donald Trump was that he pressed Ukraine to dig up information on Joe Biden and his son Hunter, threatening to withdraw funding if the Ukrainian president did not comply. In 2017, Trump enacted an executive order prohibiting all nationals of 7 Muslim-majority countries from entering the United States for 90 days. Iraqis, Syrians, Iranians, Sudanese, Libyans, Somalis, and Yemenis were suddenly unable to enter the U.S. As a result of the massive demonstrations, the prohibition was declared unconstitutional and overturned by the courts. The ex-U.S. president has also misled about the coronavirus's risks and hampered efforts to contain it. He even acknowledged in an interview deliberately exaggerating the viral threat early in the outbreak. Trump has mocked masks and social distancing restrictions while pushing people to demonstrate against disease prevention measures such as lockdowns. Trump's isolationist actions and statements have also weakened America's status on the international scene. He has made the United States less appealing to international students and researchers by closing the country's borders to many tourists and non-European immigrants. Trump has undermined America's ability to respond to global crises and alienated the country's scientists by attacking international organizations such as the World Health Organization. Trump's war against science began well before he became president. He labeled global warming a hoax during his 2016 presidential campaign and promised to withdraw the United States from the historic 2015 Paris Climate Accord, which was signed by more than 190 countries. He stated that he will keep his commitment less than 5 months after taking office. Trump hasn't merely slammed the brakes on regulations. His administration has attempted to undercut the government's use of science to make public health judgments at the EPA. On October 31, 2017, EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt signed an order prohibiting scientists with ongoing EPA research funds from sitting on the agency's Scientific Advisory Committee, making it more difficult for experts with the highest experience to help the agency analyze evidence and draft rules. The directive made it simpler for industrial scientists to take the position of academic researchers who were obliged to either give up their grants or quit as a result of the decree. Now that he has been thrown out of the White House, he is continuously giving statements that he will return sooner than the world thinks. In a new National Republican Senatorial Committee fundraising video footage, Former President Donald Trump vowed that "we're gonna take back the White House sooner than you think." Trump said in the video, "We're going to take back the Senate, take back the House, we're going to take back the White House, and sooner than you think. It's going to be really something special." Trump has told several people that he expects to be back to the president by August. Trump has also said to expect that GOP senators who lost in 2020, such as Arizona's Martha McSally and Georgia's David Perdue, would be reinstated, although there is no legal structure in place for Trump or the senators to do so. Despite Trump's repeated flirtations with another presidential candidacy, it remains unclear whether he will run at all. Trump has been impeached twice, is suspected of encouraging the U.S. Capitol attack, is facing serious legal challenges in numerous jurisdictions, and has bludgeoned many prominent Republicans, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, with personal insults. The list could go on and on. Trump accused the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden of one disgraceful surrender after another, and reiterated that Russia would not have launched its special military operation in Ukraine under his administration. Mike Duhame, CEO of MAD Global Strategy Group, who advised former Governor Chris Christie's 2016 presidential campaign, said, "Biden is seen as personally likable. That goes a long way when it comes to voting. Biden is very beatable, but Trump would have a harder time than anyone else because then the race becomes about Trump. You want the race to be about the incumbent, especially if they are unpopular." Trump has already begun a nuclear buildup and is intent on unraveling the world's last surviving nuclear weapons accord. And there's a genuine danger that a second Trump term will encourage the authoritarians who have queued up to support him throughout the world. While not all of his bluster has an impact, corporations are largely navigating his trade wars and global climate policy. His withdrawal from the international arena is almost certain to have significant downstream consequences as China rises to fill the void. Some overseas observers are similarly concerned about the status of America's democracy, observing in the U.S. the same signals of backsliding that have been seen in Hungary, Poland, and Brazil in recent years. There are critical environmental issues that concern people if Trump comes back. Owing to China's recent bold vow, the U.S. may find itself isolated as other countries begin to change the rules of the global carbon market if Trump is re-elected. A second Trump administration would very certainly have a significantly greater domestic and international impact than the first term. The president would have more time in court to defend his deregulation program, which may result in laws allowing more pollution from power plants, leaky oil and gas wells, autos, and refrigerants, possibly raising toxin emissions by at least 3% over the next 15 years. Many diplomatic and military officials believe that if Donald Trump is re-elected, he would destroy NATO completely after 4 years of him bickering with friends more than tackling opponents. Those concerns are probably definitely exaggerated. Trump remaining as NATO's most powerful leader, creating doubt and disorder from inside, is a far more plausible threat. Retired Lieutenant General Douglas Lute, who served as the United States ambassador to NATO from 2013 to 2017 and is now the CEO of Cambridge Global, a strategic consulting business, said, "It's probable he'd continue to disrupt, both politically and militarily." After decades of accords signed and implemented by presidents of both parties to keep the nuclear danger in check, Trump has already shifted course considerably in his first year. He withdrew from the 1987 Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty with Russia, alleging Moscow's transgressions but refusing to renegotiate it. He pulled out of the 1992 Open Skies Treaty, which allowed overflights of military sites to encourage openness, and was ratified by almost 36 countries, including Russia. Trump also pulled out of a 2015 multilateral nuclear deal aimed at limiting Iran's illegal weapons development. If he returns again, more urgent issues are anticipated to occur in regard to China policy. The Australian government has been eager to take a leading position in fighting the Xi Jinping dictatorship under both Trump and Biden administrations, mostly with bipartisan backing. Although there will be threats to the economy, nuclear weapons, and peace in U.S. citizens' lives if he returns again as the POTUS. On that note, we have reached the end of the video. If you have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel and turn on the notification icon. See you in the next video. Until then, peace.